Let's go off to a great start. Welcome everybody. It's Thursday once again, and I'm doing this like right now. I had barely time to set up another stream. This is great. This is peak. Hello everybody. This is the Fgeitas show, and I'm your host Fgeitas, still with my braces on. Hold on. That's better. How you guys doing? Welcome Rene, welcome Ruben, welcome Abscon, welcome to chat, and welcome to another Fgeitas show. Man, I gotta be honest, like I've barely done anything this week. A lot of stuff went down in the weekend. I spent some time with Rufox last week. Brace yourselves. Oh god damn it. Spent some time with Rufox on Saturday, and I spent my weekend and the rest of the week working. Good news though, as you guys can see, new camera setup, and I think this actually looks fantastic, I'd say. I was like planning on buying a new camera for the show specifically, and also, you know, to my online meetings and all that, and a new haircut. That's true. I got this new haircut yesterday. I was starting to look like Doc Brown, you know, like it gets to a point where you wake up in the morning and you get to like you go to your office and you look at yourself and like, okay, you start like you can't tame this anymore. It's just like the hair goes everywhere, and it doesn't, you know, like it gets to the point where it doesn't look good even if you try to comb it like either side. And yeah, like that's I was like, okay, I need to figure out like a morning to actually take care of this, and the beard as well. Like I always get the beard, because you know, I have a barber near me that's super cheap, and I rather go there, but they're not always available. Turns out like the people like to cut hairs and be pretty, you know, which is something I was definitely expecting. So yeah, I got like an appointment, and I got there like yesterday morning, and they're cool dudes. Like they're like two young guys, like I'd say younger than me, definitely. One's about my age, but the other one's like 7, 8 years younger than me. And they were talking about like what I did and all that, and then so they're like, yeah, like I do YouTube videos for a living, and I sometimes talk on Twitch, and I talk about video games. It's like, oh yeah, like I like Call of Duty, and I'm like, okay, like yeah, Call of Duty is great, I guess, but I barely play COD nowadays, especially because of the motion sickness as well. But I heard it's good. I heard it's good. So we're just chatting about usual, you know, stuff about video games and how you do this stuff. And I was telling him like I'm more interested in the business side of things than the games per se, which you know, like it's always weird to have this conversation, to be honest. I need to stop like when someone asks me what I do, I need to start like doing like, yeah, boring video production stuff, and that's it. But yeah, like so last week actually, when I was finishing my stream, and I was looking at the camera quality, I was like, okay, I really need a new webcam because this webcam is old as heck now. It's a C920 from Logitech. And I was like, yeah, I need to like just get a better camera, man. Like this is too old. But then somehow I remember there's a thing called NVIDIA Broadcast that comes with the RTX graphics cards. It's like it's a separate app you need to download it. But like via RTX AI things that they do, Blackmagic, I've downloaded it and I used it to basically enhance the camera, like put the fake blurry background like you have in a mirrorless, and also like get a little bit of color, also get the camera a little bit like lower, because it's like eye level now, which is way better, because otherwise like you guys look at me like you're looking through a surveillance camera and it's kind of weird. And I need to look like this for you guys, and you guys are like looking at me like this. It's kind of weird. But if I put it lower, it's also like I'm looking at you guys like this, and it's not you know, it's not great. So I try to keep it eye level. It's a very janky setup. Okay, like it's a very janky setup. Like I have like a gorilla tripod that's attached to the monitor arm, and it's like wrapped around it with the camera on top. Like if I think if I blow on it, it probably falls. But with all the lightning and the blurry background, it actually gives a nice image. Actually, I'm pretty happy with this. And like I figured out like on the right after the stream, I'm like, okay, I need the thumbnail. I didn't do any poses for the thumbnail as well. And immediately I was like, okay, yeah, the video broadcast, that's the thing. And I take a screenshot with it. I'm like, oh, this is so much better now. Like I think I'm gonna hold off in buying a new camera for the foreseeable future, and maybe get a Stream Deck, which is definitely something that's missing more in this setup, so I can automate a lot of stuff, because I'm still juggling with the songs and the intros and all the things, and if I can just push a button and do everything else, like that's fine by me. That's gonna be way better for my sanity as well, because I think like I'm using weird stuff right now. Like I got that sound software called Sound Show that like triggers like a bunch of sound effects, but also like it's free, and it's not like amazing. It's amazing because it's free, but you know, it's a lot of limited options as well, which, you know, it's fine. We'll do this like slowly. The important thing is like it's a fourth stream in a row every week. So, and we also actually we did there's a new video, an extra video on the channel on YouTube, if you guys want to check it out, where me and Rufox were checking out the Xbox Direct last week. It was kind of cool, not gonna lie. Ninja Gaiden's back. I haven't had the chance to try it. I checked if it ran well on Steam Deck. It doesn't basically, which, by the way, like, so random tangent right at the beginning of the show, I saw Ninja Gaiden 2 Black getting released, and obviously it's not going to run on Steam Deck because it's Unreal Engine 5 and it's probably poor optimized. But also I was like, okay, maybe I can buy the Sigma collection that came out a few years ago, and like get the Ninja Gaiden fix that I needed. You know, could be like, because I know I'm bad at that game, so like I'm probably gonna play like 10 minutes and that's it, and drop it out of frustration. But so I go to the Sigma collection, and I know it's a bad port for PC. Hey Duplo, what's good? I know the Sigma collection is a bad port, but it's Steam Deck verified, and I'm like, okay, cool, I can play these on the deck. But I start to read the description, and it's such a poor job of a port that the Ninja Gaiden Sigma collection for PC, that for instance, if you want to play full screen, the game never starts full screen. You need to click maximize on the window that it opens to make it full screen. And if you want to have any other resolution than 1080p, you need to go and change the exe file, the .exe file, into like .exe space, and then put like -720 or -4K, or whatever 4K resolution is, to make that collection run at the resolution that you want. And it's so stupid. I was like, okay, I don't want to buy this. Probably works well on deck, because like that thing usually sorts itself out, but I don't want to do this on my computer. Actually, and also there's no keyboard and mouse support, which is, if you're playing on PC and a game does not have keyboard and mouse support, which it's like, it's how you walk around on your things on your PC, it's how you interact with your stuff. Like, come on, what are you doing? Like, I don't need keyboard and mouse support to play the games, but I might need at least mouse support to click on the menu stuff. And it's so, also the game doesn't have an exit button. Like, you press Alt F4 to go away. It's like, it's just so awful. It's just bad. Yeah, obviously, like I would use a controller, obviously, right? Like that. I'm not gonna play Ninja Gaiden with a keyboard, but you might use the keyboard and the rest of like accessories to at least, I don't know, like it's such a piss poor job, man. Like I hate when companies do this, and it's usually Japanese companies that release games on PC and they're like, I don't like, just fucking run it. At this point, like, just ship it on an emulator and we'll figure shit out. It's better. There's like, that's been happening like forever. Like with, I remember Dark Souls 1 port was really bad. Like, Dark Souls 1 was so bad. But somehow modders figured out how to run that game better. I'm not gonna say well, I'm gonna say better. When that game was ported to PC, and like it was terrible. Like, I remember picking that game up and picking Dark Souls 2, and at the time I had a really bad laptop, like I don't even know, like that thing was like the budget laptop that I could afford at the time. And Dark Souls 2 ran pretty well at 30 frames per second, but like steady 30 frames per second. But then I would start Dark Souls 1, and yeah, I needed to use the S-Fix, and even then, like, the game ran like crap. There were like no options, no keyboard bindings. They had this weird ass keyboard bindings that didn't make any sense to play that game. Obviously, it's a controller game, but like, the person who designed those keybinds for PC didn't never touch the keyboard in his life. That's how I feel about it. And yeah, you had to download the SFix mod, put the SFix in the folder, and then like you would change the settings via the SFix on a notepad, and it's like just the worst experience. It's bad. It's bad. Like I want to believe that like ports are getting better. I mean, you got the Capcom ports. You got the Capcom ports. You got a bunch of stuff that are like doing pretty well. But here, put it on the news. Actually, like I can open it. Actually, because we do have a bunch of news to go through. because honestly, like, I don't even play that much games. I've played some demos as well. I finally tried the Neo Fantasian demo for PC, and it's cool. Like, Fantasian, it's nice. I mean, it's Sakaguchi, right? So like, and I kept playing a little bit of Disco Elysium, but I still haven't finished that game. I did progress though. I finally, my God, I finally was able to do some progress on the crime scene and actually go to sleep on the first day. It's so crazy. I don't know how I did it. It's like, I finally caved in a specific event, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I don't want to do this, but I need this to progress because I need to go to sleep to finish my first day. So I did that thing, and I actually had some side quests like scratched off my list just to progress through the game. That game is slow. Like, the progress on that game is very slow if you're trying to actually see everything, and there's not much action to go about. It's just you and your thoughts, like, trying to figure out what's happening in the world. So yeah, like, it's Jesus, my God. What else did I try? I tried okay, so weird story. Okay, I was talking with a friend of mine about random games, and he brought up Knights, okay, from Sega. And it's like, yeah, I never played that game. And I don't think I did either, but I do have the game on Steam. So I installed Knights just to play for like 5 minutes, and the game works very poorly for some reasons, and on Steam Deck it's even worse because you need keyboard for that game, but Steam Deck is not recognizing the keyboard as a controller, which is so weird. So I had to like tweak a bunch of shit on the game to make it work, and it's still not working properly. So I don't understand what's really going on. I might just uninstall the game and quit. But now I got to the point where I want to see what's up with this stupid ass port of Knights into PC from Sega for like 10 years ago, I believe, and see what the hell is going on, because like I can't play that shit normally. Maybe it's because it's Windows 10 now, and not Windows, 95. Not 95 obviously, but like it's maybe because it's not Windows 7, it's not working properly. Nights into Dreams, that's true. Yeah, Nights into Dreams. Because I remember having the Christmas Night Special Edition, which is like a demo with a Christmas skin on it that came with the Sega Saturn if you bought it. Like, I think it was like a special edition, and it was just the first level. It was just the first level of that game. But everyone, instead of having like the normal clothes and your normal like night skin, you had a Christmas Nights, like he was red with little bells on this hat. Not thinking back, is like, yeah, that's really funny. But you only had access to the first level. So I might need to see what's up. And what else? I bought games. I didn't play those games. I bought Virtua Fighter. I bought Virtua Fighter 5 as expected. I bought the deluxe edition because I wanted the special outfits. But I haven't installed it. I haven't touched that game because this week was all cope basically. Because I was looking at my schedule and I had to basically like just work on videos up until last night. So yeah, no gaming for you, at least not meaningful that I think about. Yeah, I don't know, like I will try for myself, and then I heard about the netcode issues. I heard a specific error where you start the match, but the real connection is not shown until you wait unless you wait until it's like 16 seconds long on the countdown. and then it shows the real connection. And sometimes it's like it shows you a 1 bar and it goes up to 5, or sometimes it's 5 and goes up and goes down to 1. Which, you know, it's weird. It's weird, and I need to check if that happens to me as well. I did have a bunch of I did have a bunch of problems with Tekken a few months back, and I was only able to fix it by playing the game through a VPN. I'm still connected to Portugal. Like I'm not using a VPN to connect to an external country. But using a VPN, being connected to Portugal, I was able to like fix whatever error I was getting on the netcode. And I like, and to this day, I still don't know what that thing is. I've tried to contact Bandai. They tried to help me by changing the DNS and stuff on my router. I did everything they asked. I called my service provider and nothing worked. So I was still getting randomly disconnected from servers, unless I use a VPN. And so far, like, I can only play that game with a VPN. It's bullshit if you ask me, to be honest, because I hated it. I just, oh my god. Oh wow, okay. The attack of the bots. They're out there, right? Yeah, like let me know what you guys have been playing. I know Rufox is still playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I saw you play Elden Ring. Congrats on finishing the Bale boss fight finally, which is cool. It was very cool. You were struggling there for a little bit. What else? I think that was mainly it. Like my week was too short and too long at the same time. Egon sucks balls. Egon does suck balls. Probably the most useless character I've seen in the game. But as we talk about this, we are going into the news, and that was too loud for my ears. I hope it was not too loud for you guys. But we have cool stuff. We have PlayStation W's. Never mind. Okay. PlayStation W's this week, the rare PlayStation W. So they got a new CEO. It was loud. Okay. Oh. That's gonna be great on the VOD. So you guys, sorry, I'm already asking for forgiveness in when this VOD goes up. Anyway, PlayStation got a new CEO and immediately dropping bombs. PlayStation W sounds like a work in progress system name. That's actually true. But first win of PlayStation. It's Sony is dropping the PSN account requirement for PC, but having one will unlock in-game content. And yes, that's exactly what I told them that they should do. I mean, I didn't tell them because I obviously don't talk with PlayStation directly. But that's what I said when they did the stupid thing on Helldivers, that they wanted to force people to create a PSN account. And like, I get it. You want our data, it's fine. Like, China has it too, okay? And US also has it, and probably, honestly, your state also has it, and a bunch of other companies, right? But when they, like a few months back, when they released Helldivers and enforced a few months later with like when they enforced the PSN account requirement to play Helldivers, everyone's like, honestly, it was pissed. I know some people say it's like, oh yeah, it's just like, you just need to create an account, and sure, you just need to create an account. Except there's like 100 and something countries that like cannot create a PlayStation account, right? Obviously, like, they can create it through other means, like through a VPN and all that shit, but that goes against the terms of service. And you know, Sony never enforced anything about using VPNs, but if they do, it's like, oh yeah, like you can't do anything because it was on their terms of service. Like this decision makes total sense. Like if you want people to create a PSN account, like give them a reward for creating the account and don't force them and don't lock them out of your games instead, right? It's the reward versus the punishment. Like, oh, you don't have a PSN account, then fuck you. Okay, like it's way better. Like it's way better. And also, like I don't understand why you would force like someone to create a PSN account on PC, because like those people, if they have a PlayStation, they will buy a PlayStation anyway. If they don't have a PlayStation, I don't think a PC player will buy a PlayStation just because he created a free PSN account. Okay, like that does not happen. But yeah, like you got some cool rewards. So for Marvel Spider-Man 2, you got the new Spider-Man suits, the 2099 and Miles Morales 2099 suits. For Ragnarok, you got the Armor of the Black Bear set for Kratos at the first lost item chest. Previously only accessible in the New Game Plus run. Okay, and a resource bundle, so you got more stuff for crafting. Last of Us 2 has a jacket from Jordan, the new protagonist from Intergalactic, the Erratic Prophet. Okay, sure. And 50 points to activate bonus features and unlock extras. I don't know what that is. I didn't play Last of Us. And Horizon Zero Dawn gets a Nora Valiant outfit, whatever that. It's cosmetics, right? And I think they need to do this, right? It's like only cosmetic stuff, or if it's a single player game, like a small boost, like hey, I can craft stuff faster with this small bundle, and I'm like, cool. Don't give stuff like extra weapons in Helldivers, for instance, like it's something that makes you OP. You know, like cool, like good move on Sony, honestly. So like Fox is saying, like in the PSN account gives trophies, which is cool, but they talked about friends management too, and my first thought was you're probably playing through Steam. So as someone who doesn't care about trophies or achievements, like that's I think that's good to have for people that care about. Like if you're really into trophies or into achievements, like they obviously should cater to that experience as well. But the main thing is for them. So there's a problem though. Like I don't know if this will make the people that the people that were locked out of creating a PSN account on those other countries, like they didn't say anything about that, right? So like, are the games that were like removed from those countries, because there was a bunch of games that were removed from those countries because of that limitation, but they didn't say anything about restoring those games on Steam to those people. So yeah, it's a W, but we're missing critical information here, Sony. Right? We're missing critical information about them. Hey, like, what about the people that got shafted for not being able to get a PSN account? Yeah, the games got removed. So I don't know if they were reinstated or not after the decision. Maybe it's not like a click of a button, which sounds kind of weird. But I like they didn't speak anything about that specific part, right? And it's like, okay, Sony, cool on you. On other news, Sony related as well. So like again, Sony CEO new Sony CEO steps in. Herman Hulst gets demoted. I'm gonna say demoted. I'm not sure like if demoted is the correct word for him stepping down as CEO but doing other stuff in there. And they do this to the PSN account on PC, but at the same time, like, they announced to shift away from offering PS4 games through PlayStation Plus. This is... I got mixed feelings on this, okay? So there's a lot of people still on PS4 that did not buy a PS5 because they didn't see the value of it, right? Right? Like if you don't have a PS5 yet, it's because it's too expensive for once. Like if you can't afford it, it's a good reason, since that those consoles are still super expensive. But at the same time, I feel this move comes a little bit late, because if you think about it, it's 2025. We are 5 years into the next generation of consoles, so the current generation of consoles. But you're still supporting the previous consoles. So my takeaway from this is, I think that, yes, like, it makes perfect sense, but at the same time, some people have not migrated to PS5 because they didn't see the value of it, which means, like, you still have games that you want to play there, but they are not enough for you to actually acquire a $500 consoles, right? Which means that with this happening, it feels like they're trying to force people to, like, hey, let's upgrade to the next one, because you're not going to get more benefits from this one anymore, which, okay, it's 5 years, like, no problem there, I get it. But I would rather them going, okay, we're going to stop doing this in 2026, but in 2026 you're also going to have a lot more interesting software on that side for you to care about, right? How long did it take for Nintendo to pull the plug on 3DS support after the Switch came out? A lot. Like, it was kind of a lot as well, and it makes sense. But at the same time, Nintendo had a pretty good lineup on the Switch, so people were motivated to just buy the next system, right? I feel people are not as motivated as... Oh yeah, I know they're not free games. Like, if you stop paying, they stop existing on your account. So always read the fine print, right? But the thing is, like, I feel, yeah, like, you were right. Like, Nintendo did supported the 3DS for a long time, right? But if you look at the Switch from the start, you got a pretty good lineup with Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey and a bunch of other titles. Even Animal Crossing, right, that came out in 2020. But if you look at the PS5, the first year or 2 years, that if I'm recalling correctly, you had a bunch of people saying, yeah, like there's like 2 games I want to play there. Because the rest was not exclusives, and the exclusives that they had were like, yeah, it was Last of Us Part 2 that you could play on the PS4, and you had Final Fantasy that you could also play that PS4 at some point, and Horizon, which was mostly also PS4 titles, right? So people were like, yeah, why should I upgrade? Like, okay, sure, you have the graphical fidelity and all that, but at the same time, it's like, I already have these games. I've played them, so it's less appealing than like a new game, right? And I think, like, thinking back, it's like we're 5 years into this generation, and I still feel like Sony hasn't beat those allegations of not having games. Obviously, they have games, and they're showing a bunch of stuff. But those big titles that you know, PlayStation 4 PlayStation 4, that was a good sentence. Or that, you know, like PlayStation 4, those, like, the titles that make you want to buy a console. I feel they're not there, and it only diluted with them announcing games for the PC as well. You know, like it's a complicated relationship. Obviously Sony needs the PC ports to also like make the games profitable, so they're kind of like stuck in like a double-edged sword on this, and I feel this is more like them forcing people out of a system than attracting people to the new system with cool stuff over there. That being said, like obviously, if like they said, like if the titles have a PS4 equivalent, you'll still get them. But every like the usual stuff is that every month you get 1 or 2 PS4 titles, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously, like they need that to shift and get PS5 titles. So yeah, cool. In the meantime, Sony also revealed that February have Payday 3, High on Life, and Pac-Man World Repack. I don't even know what Pac-Man World Repack is. But yeah, like I think for the foreseeable future, it's a good move for Sony. But at the same time, we are hearing rumors of PS5 already, PS6 actually. And you're mid-generation. Like if PlayStation 6 gets announced in 2027 or releases in 2027, this generation was kind of rough, to say the least, for Sony, right? Because they were obviously pandemic happened, Xbox also struggling, so like they were not trailing that behind. But with the pandemic happening and the shortages in 2020 throughout 2021 actually, and like the games getting delayed all the time, this was a really rough generation for Sony. I don't think anyone could have predicted this, obviously. But man, like it's been 5 years. It's been 5 years, and we still beat the like Poe is saying. Still no games that I want to play besides Final Fantasy 16, which is now on PC. Obviously, that game takes a lot to run on your machine, but at the same time, it's like PC gaming is growing a little bit more, so people are more inclined to invest on a computer right now. Because also, you know, like work related stuff, and it also like because it's useful for so many things, right? I think it's easier to convince someone to buy a computer than buy a PlayStation, just because they want to play Final Fantasy 16. It's complicated, like it's very complicated. Let's move on to another one, a smaller but sadder news. Phoenix Labs lays off majority of the studio. If you don't know Phoenix Labs, it's the Dauntless developer. They did not share the exact number of employees laid off, but what this means for Dauntless and Fae Farm, which is another game they have. Like they don't know, they didn't disclose the impact that it's gonna have. Moving forward. From what I heard, I haven't touched Dauntless in a while. From what I heard from current players, it's not going well for them, because you know, like it's being I apparently they changed that for a very, very hardcore pay to win model. So like Dauntless is a little bit in shambles right now. And maybe that took a toll, but yeah, like more people looking for jobs in the games industry, which is a sad reality. We've been talking, like I'm doing I'm on the 4th episode of the show, and I don't think there was a single episode where I didn't talk about layoffs anywhere, which kind of sucks. And we talked last week that like layoffs were about 11% compared to the 7% of the 2023 numbers, and I think that number is gonna be higher. And speaking of layoffs, more layoffs. Oh, damn it. Ubisoft confirms 185 layoffs as it closes former DJ Hero Studio and downsizes others. God damn it, man. Like, Ubisoft can't get a break, right? So Assassin's Creed Make Ubisoft is cutting jobs in Europe as part of a wider restructuring plans. We are hearing news of Ubisoft and being in talk with Tencent to make us a split company and get some assets into that same company. What do you mean? Are we having trouble? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's yeah, I realized that. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. So yeah, I can read Duplo. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I might need to check out what's wrong. Yeah, I have like the actual. It's so weird. It's the first time that now that you mention it, yeah, like it's okay. But don't worry, Duplo. I can actually read you. Don't worry. So yeah, this is censorship. Oh no, not the canceling, not the canceling on my fourth episode. God damn it. Yeah, I'll look into this when I finish this stream because I really don't understand what's going on. Maybe it's something on the on Stream Elements probably or Stream Labs, whatever I'm using. Don't worry, we'll get there. we'll get there for sure. But yeah, Ubisoft. In the meantime, Ubisoft laid out more people. So there's an ongoing restructuring at Ubisoft that's that like it's happening with Tencent. So the TLDR of this is Ubisoft and Tencent want to create like a parent company. Let's call them Ubisoft 2 Electric Boogaloo. And what I think they want to do is like they're gonna change some of the assets, and by assets I mean IPs. So like I'm gonna say Assassin's Creed, I'm gonna say Just Dance, Far Cry, and all those big money-making titles that Ubisoft has. They're gonna move it into the upper company, so Ubisoft 2, and let Ubisoft, the original one, stay in the same place as two options. One, it's satellite studios that help with other things from Tencent. So like instead of being Ubisoft Montreal or Ubisoft, I'm not saying it's gonna be Ubisoft Montreal, okay, but apparently they had a studio in Leamington Spa, UK, okay, and so instead of closing that studio down, they would be like, okay, Tencent has a bunch of other stuff that needs help, so we can use this studio as like a satellite to help in some projects. It's weird. Or like the second option is actually take out most of the assets and let the other company slowly fade away until they close that shit down. Either way, it's not great for the Ubisofts of this world and all the things, and you know, like I do not wish like Ubisoft devs to all go out, like to all go like to be out of a job, but I'm not sure selling this to Tencent is the answer, right? It was what happened with because exactly I was remembering what happened with THQ Nordic, because it's not so like I think they're gonna keep Ubisoft's names because Ubisoft still carries a legacy, right? And obviously most consumers do not care about Ubisoft problems happening, or they're not even aware that stuff like this is happening, right? But they know the brand. The brand has recognizable name, right? If you say Ubisoft to someone that plays games randomly, they probably gotta know, oh yeah, the Assassin's Creed guys or the Far Cry guys. And what happened to THQ was exactly that. So they closed, like THQ closed completely. The people that worked there all got laid off. They all went away, and they stay shut for a number of years. Until yeah, like the consumer is every right to not know about these behind the scenes shenanigans. Like that's like, it's not their job to know, right? But they're gonna maintain the Ubisoft name, just like the company that bought THQ, and I think it was Nordic Games actually. They kept the THQ name because obviously it's still recognizable. People knew THQ from the wrestling games or from whatever, right? And so like when someone goes into the store and looks at a cover or looks at like the publisher of this game, like, oh yeah, it's THQ. I remember these guys when I was 14, 13. Those games were good, so this one is probably good as well. Ubisoft is probably going to be the same. But it's not the people that made those games, you know. It's a completely different team, right? And new CEO, new everything. It's just a name. It's just a stamp on there. From a developer perspective, this is sad. Obviously, like these big companies are taking these names and transforming them into assets for them to sell games, obviously, and that's what they do. On the other hand, like what do you have? It's like people kind of getting tricked in some fashion. Not like, obviously it's not a scam or anything, but it's a nostalgia bait, right? Because you buy these games because you look at the name and remember it, and yeah. So eventually you're like, oh yeah, I remember these guys, I'm gonna buy this game. But turns out it's not feeling exactly the same, and it's because, well, it's a different team. It's a different company, actually. They just happen to share the same name. Which, you know, it's what's happened also with, for instance, we talked about THQ, but that team that made Hi-Fi Rush, and now it was bought by other people. Like, some of the devs were not making their way into the new team, so they're just like looking out for jobs anyway. So yeah, when the new what was the team, right? It was I forgot the name now, but yeah, when you see that studio's name again, it's not going to be the same people, right? And speaking of restructuring, we have restructuring happening at BioWare. Woohoo! Oh my god, lots of restructuring going around, to be honest. So BioWare confirms it's downsizing as doesn't require support from the full studio for Mass Effect. This reeks to me. It should be on the marketing classes of what not to do with Hi-Fi Rush. I have a take that they closed down not because of Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush was fine, but they were going to close down anyway. Because Hi-Fi Rush, so if you look at that company, they released before Hi-Fi Rush, they released Evil Within, right? Evil Within 1, which was fine. It sold well together with the DLCs, and it was like, as a game, it was perfectly good. It was enjoyable, right? And then you had Evil Within 2, which was not as good as they were hoping for. Right? So like, so Evil Within 2 is already like on the down. The second game from that studio, it's already on the downtrend. Okay, and then they released Ghostwire Tokyo as well, which again, like, fine game. Okay, like I'm gonna say like probably a 7.5 on Metacritic score. That's my bet. But sales wise, again, like it was again on the downtrend for them. With Hi-Fi Rush, I heard Hi-Fi Rush didn't do that well, but they did better than the previous games. Sales wise as well, especially with the Switch port and all that. But it was like them like not doing well on 2 games in a row, and Hi-Fi Rush like did better but not really well as they were hoping to be. And Shinji Mikami also leaving that studio. They were like, okay, maybe it's time to shut this down and see what we can do with this. My problem with this is that in this specific case, Hi-Fi Rush was also sold to the new company that they bought the studio, which cool. Okay, so that company gets the rights to Hi-Fi Rush, so any sales goes toward them, and still support the studio that they bought. But what we are seeing with Xbox is that they buy a lot of studios, they close them down, but the games are still selling. So the people that made those games are not getting anything out of them, because they are still looking for a job out there. Hopefully not. But the work that you did is profiting for other people. Okay. And it's not helping your current job at all, if you have one. And that's I think it's something that's not really talked about enough, because they buy all these rights, they buy all these studios, but then the studios get closed down and the people working on them get shit, which is one of my main problems with Xbox right now, besides all the rest. But yeah, and EA actually, like, speaking of BioWare and EA did the same. Like, if you guys remember, like 10-15 years ago, 10-15 years ago, I believe, like, EA killed a bunch of studios. You had the Commander & Conquer studios, the Origin studios, Respawn Entertainment, the Dead Space guys. They had all these, like, the Maxes that made Sims and all the other stuff. Bullfrog Entertainment as well, if I'm not mistaken. So they had this collective of great smaller studios that they kind of poached and got and bought during the years, and then they get those devs to work on other projects and they close down their studios. Right? Hey, no. Yes, I'm an Xbox as well. Right? So yeah, EA, we've seen this trend. We see this trend like forever. Activision also did the same. Now Microsoft's doing the same with Activision. This trend like goes forever. Since video game companies start buying each other. Right. But yeah, in the meantime, like BioWare, like I with the BioWare news, I hope there's Mass Effect fans in chat. I know there are. Rini at least is. I think Nunu also is a big Mass Effect fan. I don't think this bodes well to Mass Effect, to be honest. So like the team that worked on Veilguard is off the studio. Like they are restructuring all that thing. I hope there is a Mass Effect. I don't. So my take on this is that they as with Veilguard, they're also trying in some way to get Mass Effect to be a live service game for some reason. Like, and Like, okay, just give me a small time, a small pause, because I need to open the door to my cat. Let's all remember they did Andromeda. Yes, of course. I'm not saying like Andromeda is like terrible, right? But I feel this is them like, okay, we don't need this big of a team, so I don't feel like this is gonna be good for Mass Effect overall. Okay. Honestly, like with this announcement, I'm honestly thinking this game's gonna be cancelled. I honestly believe like Mass Effect 5, it's either coming out and it's going to be bad, or it's going to be cancelled midway through the development. Because I believe like what they've done was, so like putting pieces together. The financial report said EA FC 25 did not do that well. Veilguard did not do that well as well, but you know the main problem was EA 25. And apparently the problem was with the Ultimate Team. The Ultimate Team did not perform as well as they expected with this new entry. Which is like, the sales were fine, right? But the Ultimate Team, that was the thing that gave them the most profit, was the thing that's not doing well. So my take on this is that they took all these devs from Mass Effect, and they're like, hey, you guys need to help the other dudes on both on EA Sports FC, like on the new one. I think it's going to be 26, right? Like, that's what makes sense. And also a new Battlefield, because we've heard rumors of Battlefield coming in with a new entry. And I think they need like all the manpower they can get. That's my take on this. And it's probably going to be another live service game with Battlefield. And I don't know. I don't know numbers about UFL and eFootball. I'm not going to say they're good or bad. I don't know if they're worth threat, right? Regarding numbers. But that's my take. So like they were like, let's stop focusing on Mass Effect and do a better Ultimate Team that actually engages players next year, and actually do a better Battlefield experience that people are asking for it again. Like, people want Battlefield to be back. And we've been like hearing rumors of a new Battlefield coming in. So yeah, like I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I don't know like what's the future of Mass Effect. I don't know what's the if this game is ever coming out. From the looks of it, it's gonna be massively downscaled or cancelled in like mid-production. Not good, right? I want to like take a small break since I had to leave to get my cat out. Stop. I want to see ads. I want you guys to check out 2 games, okay? First, I'm going to show you like one at a time, and we're going to look at this trailer. This is Albert, the cat detective. Okay, I'm gonna put this link here. If you guys dig it, wishlist it on Steam. So this cat detective Albert Wild. Okay, it's a noir game.
This case sounded like one of the weird ones. The body, it ain't normal. But then, what is normal in this city jungle of ours? That was deep. I should write that one down. Name's Albert Wild. I'm a private eye. I'm the cat you come to when you need justice in this town. I'm always on the prowl for the truth, for criminal scum, for a nice bowl full of milk when I get the chance. It takes a cat to balance on the thin line of the law, and I'm the best at it. I'll leave no stone unturned, no question unasked, no butt unsniffed in my hunt for justice. Whoa. Okay. That was weird. Is weird. Weirdness is definitely happening. That's another good one. I need to make notes on these.
Cat Detective Albert Wild. Okay. So this is not GTA. Okay, this is it's more linear, right?
In this game, you play as the cat detective.
There you go. We can watch a little bit of this.
You talk to everybody. You have to solve a weird mystery.
It's more like an adventure game, okay?
Parallel universe, but it's a comedy. It has a flavor of an.
And it's all made with this like 1920s, 1930s noir style cop movie.
Think of it as something close to a walking simulator and an interactive novel.
Right, it's a walking simulator if you guys want it, but you do have the questions and you have the several investigation things that you have to do.
That move like puppets. So you play as
So once again, like, this is the part of the stream where I recommend you guys weird ass games from indie developers all around the Steam universe for you guys to check out and be like at least aware that these games exist. I don't care, like, you guys are not gonna see me. You guys are not. You guys not gonna see me like promote, you know, the new Assassin's Creed because you guys know that it exists, right? You're not gonna see me promote the new Call of Duty because you know Call of Duty is out. But I want you guys to join my stream and be like, "What the fuck are you looking at? Why is this game so weird?" Right? So yeah, Cat Detective Albert. I don't know, seemed fine. It's like $10 on Steam. There was a demo when I saw this. It's not there anymore. God damn it. People, leave your demos up. Let people try your games. Jesus. But yeah, check it out. I got it on my wish list. Like, I think it's super funny. I might actually buy this to play on Steam Deck because it looks so stupid that I need to actually play it. Like the kind of stupid cool that I definitely enjoy. Tekken 8 still has a demo up, that's true. Like, you people can try Tekken 8 for free. Try the demos. Like, there's a lot of talks about like people pirating and like trying pirated games as a demo. Like, if you are a small indie developer, put a demo up. Like, if you're able. And let people try your game for free because it's probably going to drive sales up. Because people can actually check the quality of the game before they do. Yes, Cat Detective Albert Wild, Pochita. I think I posted the link, but there you go. Wish list on Steam. Okay. Moving on. Okay. This is gonna be the bulk of the news. My God. Oof! Microsoft was the #1 games publisher in the world last month, and I'm gonna say, well, it's not that hard, isn't it? There's a story about you being up in a race, and you are running and trying to get to first place, but you also chop the legs off your competitors and make them trip and crawl to the end space. Right? So yeah, it's not hard to be the #1 games publisher in the world if most of the games are yours, right? However, here's the thing. Like, I was talking to Rene, like I sent him this piece of news, and I was talking to Rene, and Rene was jokingly saying, yeah, like they were the #1 on Steam, but 0.4 was on Steam instead of Microsoft Store. And the rest was PlayStation. And I was like, okay, like let's be real. Like, they probably sold a lot more. Until I got to this specific paragraph where it says Call of Duty that delivered the majority of success. Call of Duty HQ, which includes Black Ops 6, attracted 38 million monthly users in November. Actually, it was not this one. I fucked up this. But basically, like, the place where it sold more was on PlayStation. So yeah, obviously, like, the Indiana Jones did very well. Indiana Jones that released last December actually went pretty well. But COD, the Bacalhau game, sold pretty well on PlayStation. 64% actually, you know, which just confirms to me, like, and that's why I put did I didn't, fuck it, but it's becoming like this is becoming Schrodinger's Xbox, right? Xbox, it's a hardware manufacturer, but it's slowly pivoting into a publisher first and foremost that happens to have hardware on the market, right? And that's the funny thing for me. Like, you have hardware on the market with a publisher, but like, the main thing about Xbox right now is that they're releasing games everywhere. And this like, these news, it's definitely like, oh yeah, like, obviously that's gonna happen. However, the revenue fell 7% in Q2 as hardware sales dropped 29%. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. Like, obviously, we are halfway through the generation, as we talked about, like, the PlayStation side of things. Obviously, console sales are going to be driven down because people that want an Xbox probably already have an Xbox. Like, the number of sales on Xbox is not going to go up now unless there's some change in, like, there's some new hardware coming up. But yeah, so, like, sales went down. Obviously, like, it's pretty normal. I think this is like, they're just filing their financial reports. But they okay. Oh, I didn't open this piece of news. I'm so sorry. Not WWE in my stream. However, Xbox Phil Spencer says Series S compatibility requirement isn't going away. Again, we've talked about this, like, immediately on the first episode of the show, as we talked about the Wukong problem and all that, about being ported to Series S. And I mean, yeah, like, I still don't think they should stop making them available. Like, I don't think if they drop the requirement, it's like, it's a fuck you to consumers. And yeah, like, there's always a talk about the current gen games not being able to run at Series S. Baldur's Gate 3, which we actually talked about it, can finally launch the version of split screen co-op on the Series S. So if you're playing Baldur's Gate, you can now finally play co-op if you're playing on the underpowered console from Xbox. So it's weird. Like, they were having a conversation on this channel called Destin, okay? And yeah, it's true. Like, so when you look at, so Phil Spencer was talking about and saying, so when we look at something like the Steam Deck or ROG Ally or something, we've got this Series S version of the games that are more tailored to the device specs. A lot of devices that frankly are getting introduced right now, and I think that helps us, right? Yeah, like, and I think this is a good point. Like, if people, especially developers, are being more and more aware that handheld gaming is coming to stay, finally, okay, on the portable side of things, not mobile, okay. And I'm not saying mobile devices like cell phones, but with Steam Deck coming in, the Switch also coming in as well, The Switch 2 actually, and the Allies, the Nitro Blazes of Acer, whatever you name that thing. Like, I think it makes more sense that developers are going to do like high-end, big budget AAA titles with pretty graphics, but they're starting to get concerns of, hey, what if we sold this game like tailored to a more handheld experience, so we can sell it on, you know, Steam Decks, or an ROG Ally or whatever, so people can play this on the go. I want to point out that I think this was the goal from Nintendo, like, since forever. Okay, this was the goal. Like, Nintendo goal was always to like fuse the market into a single market, so the handheld and the desktop one, or the home console one, right? Because if you do remember, most of the consoles had an attachment to, like, you could, I think you could connect your Game Boy Color to the SNES, or the Game Boy to the SNES. You could also connect your GB and your N64, I believe with for the Pokemon as well, but also you could play games with an adapter on your TV. And I think there were more examples of this with the Nintendo, right? You had like weird stuff happening with games that would work on the Wii U but on the 3DS at the same time, and you could swap stuff between them as well. And now, like, with the Switch, that Switch is the ultimate form of what Nintendo wants to do. And it makes a total sense if you think about like daily lives and all that. Like, people want more accessibility of their stuff overall. Obviously there's going to be like the experience, the AAA experience with the graphics and all that there's a niche of players that will still want that experience, obviously, and you still gonna have home consoles to cater to those players, right? Or a big desktop. But the majority of gaming right now is happening on the go. So you got the mobile devices, you got the handhelds, and people, like, developers are looking into it and being like, yeah, this actually makes a perfect sense, and we should actually accommodate those players, because obviously it's a big part of your overall gaming experience. And if you look at the most played games currently, not on Steam, right, but overall the most played games are still stuff like Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite. You got League of Legends and the mobile version of League of Legends. Honor of Kings, actually, another mobile game, another mobile MOBA. So there's a big pool of players there that they want to cater to. And if those developers start having like those devices in mind, they can also have the Series S in mind. So, like, making games that are scalable to lower power tech. Right, and Roblox is getting bigger and bigger by the minute. Roblox is currently the #1 game in the world right now, like ahead of Fortnite. But because it works as a platform instead of a game itself, it's kind of a weird situation, right? But yeah, like, I think Phil is weird. Okay, so like Phil right now, like, we're living in an era of Xbox that they are not sure what they want to do. If they want to still be a publisher and still be a hardware manufacturer. And I feel like Phil Spencer, obviously, like, in this interview, kind of plays it safe and be like, yeah, we still want to build more Xboxes and sell more hardware, but at the same time, all the marketing that they're doing, like, says otherwise. Right? So yeah, like, I think this makes total sense for like developers, and like to bet more on this, on stuff like Series S, so they can actually bet on the side on handheld consoles and devices, right? Now imagine the Switch 2 hybrid console with a built-in mouse functionality. So as I said, like I think it was last episode, when I saw the mouse device, my first thing was, I don't want the mouse. Like this feels the most uncomfortable thing ever to play. Because if you want a mouse, you will have to have a hard surface to play on the mouse. Because you need something like to put the mouse on, right? So you need a table, you need some hard surface of any kind, and that kind of defeats that kind of defeats like the whole portability stuff for me. And I was like, yeah, I that was my first thought. Like, I don't care, especially being a guy that tried the Legion Go mouse. I was like, this experience fucking sucks, man. Like the Legion Go mouse is just a fucking awful way to play shooters or whatever you wanted. But then I was browsing Twitter and I saw a post saying, what if they bring back Kid Icarus HD and you can play as a mouse? I'm like, I'm fucking sold. Just give me this. I'm good. Like, just give me this now. That was like immediately, like my mind snapped. Like, okay, that's actually a very good point. I'm down. So yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't know what that mouse is gonna bring, to be honest. I don't know like what we are getting out of a mouse. I can see RTS games actually working pretty well. I don't know if I want to play shooters with a mouse now. Like I don't know if I want to play Metroid Prime with a mouse. Like the gamepad experience was good enough for me to enjoy that game. Sure, you're gonna have cool stuff, like you can port Valorant, I guess, for the Switch. You can play Call of Duty, right, or Fortnite with a mouse and keyboard if you want on the Switch. But I actually feel those experiences are well tailored to the controller, to the traditional controller. So, like, as an accessibility perspective, I think it's cool. I think it's a cool thing that they're gonna have if it's actually real. If that confirms it. But it's probably not for me, you know, like it's whatever. And still speaking of Xbox, Phil Spencer confirms more Xbox games will become multi-platform. I mean, of course. Again, we are a publisher now. I'm not on Microsoft, but obviously Microsoft is a publisher now, and they want to reach for everyone. And obviously, I can see people getting butt hurt. Again, like, oh, my Xbox is useless, but like, just get more people are gonna play games, and they're gonna make more money. That's it. Right? Like there's a quote from here, like, we love our platform and our hardware, but we're not going to put up walls where people can engage with the great games our studios are building. Our games will show up in more places. And like, obviously, like that, I don't see the problem with this. The thing that can happen with them going all out on the crossplay stuff. Oh no, sorry, I read crossplay on chat and I got confused. But what can happen with them, like releasing in multi-platforms, is, and still releasing hardware? It's like, hey, you can play these games on other devices, right? I'm not talking specifically PlayStation. I'm gonna say, like, you can play these games on PC. You can play these games on your phone using the Xbox Game Pass. But if you want the ultimate experience of playing Indiana Jones, right? You can get an Xbox Series X and play this game with the highest fidelity possible in the comfort of your own home. And I think if they're gonna be doing this, right? I think that's the way to go, right? You can have LG smart TVs with the Game Pass app and play those games via streaming, right? you can play those games via streaming on your phone, or you can have the ROG Ally playing those games with a smaller scale, right? Like you're not gonna play those games at 4K 60 or at 4K 30, whatever, but with RTX on. But if you want to play those games with the biggest graphical fidelity, we have a console for you, and that's the Xbox, right? And I mean, it's a perfectly legit type of business, right? So what I think it's really cool about this is that every major company right now offers you a different experience on the gaming department. So you have PC gaming, obviously, that's not gonna go away, and PC gaming is tailored to a bunch of different crowds. But if you go to the console side, you got Nintendo and their first party and their hardware that's not gonna go away. They're still ahead of the race with the Switch, and they're gonna still be ahead of the race with the Switch too. If you look at Xbox, you got the Game Pass experience with a bunch of games that you can play at like a small price per month. And they have PlayStation with the cinematic titles and the big AAA titles coming out. And I think it's cool that it's like this. There was a time in like two or the previous generation and the generation before that, so PlayStation 3 and the PS4 generation. I felt those generations were pretty much like, especially Xbox and PlayStation were pretty much like interchangeable in terms of offerings. Obviously, you had the exclusives, that was what drove the PlayStation sales go up. But I felt the experience was more like close to each other. But as that generation went on and the new generation came in, like everyone went their separate path, and you're like, okay, I can have a cool experience with PlayStation if I want AAA games, but I can also have a cool experience with Xbox now because I have all these games to play by the low price of 15, 16 euros a month. And if I want to play, on the go with cool ass titles and like family friendly titles, I also have Nintendo with me. And I think this is really cool from a perspective where there's competition, but at the same time everyone is doing their own thing and trying to have their own niche of the market, and they're not bumping into each other as much as they were before. Obviously, you're still gonna have the console wars, and this is gonna be better. Your PlayStation is better than my Xbox, and your Xbox is better than my PlayStation. But those types of people. But from where I'm standing, like all three companies are doing great without messing with each other that much. Obviously, they still want a piece of pie of everyone, but I think it's kind of cool. In the meantime, speaking of good gaming experiences, the original PC ports of DINO CRISIS 1 and 2 are now on GOG. GOG is making some really cool strides in the preservation of games. And first, I didn't know there were ports of DINO CRISIS 1 and 2 for PC. Which is like the first thing. I thought those games were PS1 exclusives, and when they said, yeah, original port, I'm like, oh really? They were PC ports? Oh cool, interesting. But you can buy them right now on GOG. This is not an ad, by the way, and I don't get anything. You can buy them for $9.99, the standard edition, or the bundle for $16.99. Both DINO CRISIS at 17 euros. And these are on the GOG preservation program, so that means that as Windows keeps updating and new stuff comes in, GOG is making the effort to make those games still be playable on the newer generations of hardware, which is like, kind of cool, to be honest. They also have like support for extra stuff. So obviously compatibility, but they support modern controllers, smooth video playback, cloud save support, and extra stability and bug fixes. So it's not really just a port; it's a port with extra stuff. I'm not gonna call it remaster, but it's an enhanced port, right? Which is pretty cool. They also had other thing that they announced, and I did not put them here, but I kind of want to show you guys, because GOG did a really cool thing of making a kind of a wish list. Let me get the news here. It's F-Bucks, yeah. What do you mean? No, go back. Okay, vote for your favorite games. They got the GOG Dream List now. So they are asking people to vote on the games that they want more to see preserved. It's the Fgeitas box. Come on, Paul. Come on. You know that. Or is it? Obviously, like, you got some picks by the staff. We got Freelancer, Resident Evil Code Veronica X, which is honestly would be my pick. Final Fantasy VII as well, and No One Lived Forever. I don't think I ever played this game. They made some stuff already, like Alpha Protocol, Blade Runner, Daggerfall. It's already there. They're released. Okay. You did something, Abscon, and now I'm trying to click to show. Freelancer. Okay, yeah. I don't know what Freelancer is. So if you want to say that, if you want to say that, if you want to say what that game is, actually we can check it out. Why not? Oh yeah, I remember seeing you play this. Okay, fair. But you know what's not surprising at all? It's to see black and white on top of this list. Put on Discord, that website. Let me see. Okay. Oh yeah, you've put on the other Discord, Sufficious, I believe. So here's the problem with black and white. I love this game. Black and white is so cool. I wonder if it still holds up. Okay, I'm gonna say this because this was probably Peter Molyneux last game before they announced it. They did Fable, because they also did Black and White too, but before they did the Fable thing and the Milo. So basically, yeah, Freelancer by like Abscon recommendation. Yeah, I do remember seeing you play this. It's a space sandbox thing, adventure shooter simulator. Yeah, okay. Black and White has a big problem right now, if you guys don't know about. Black and White, no one knows where the rights are in their total. So the total rights of Black and White are unknown right now, which has been a problem for them, because I heard from, I'm gonna say, very safe font, a very safe source. Font is a different thing, but I'm gonna say from a very safe source that they have a build of Black and White ready to go. Okay, but they can't sell it because they don't have the rights for the whole thing. And so the thing is, like, Black and White was made by Lionhead Studios, published by Electronic Arts, and Feral Interactive. I don't even know what this is. It's probably the PlayStation port or the Mac port, maybe. It's the Mac port. Okay, they okay. Here's the thing: Lionhead was bought by Microsoft. The whites and the blacks as well on this on this specific case. So this was made by Peter Molyneux, right? This was made by Peter Molyneux, but while he was at Lionhead Studios, Lionhead was bought by Microsoft. But part of the rights stay with Electronic Arts. But part of the rights did not go to anyone, and they don't know where the that specific chunk of rights, because they need the approval from everyone listed in the credits, basically. Okay, that has the rights to the game. Not everyone in specific, but like a large part of the game's rights, they need to, they have writing rights, you have sound design rights, you have the publishing rights, you have the developing rights. Yeah, you have a bunch of different little pieces of the pie that all together are not complete. Which means, obviously, that even if they have allegedly a version ready to go and to be put on their store, they can't put it. And that's why Black and White is not on GOG. That's the thing. And yeah, you can vote for a bunch of stuff. Let me see. You got Black and White, Command and Conquer, Black and White 2 as well. I remember not enjoying this one as much, but Black and White is pretty good. Freelancer, Diablo 2, Max Payne, System Shock is already out, so yeah. So Duplo asked if Tekken is available. Tekken is probably not available. You got Street. Actually, you have. Oh wow. Okay. So Duplo, there you go. You can actually vote on Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Tekken 3, 5, 4, 6, 2, Tech Tournament 2, 5 Dark Resurrection, and Tekken Tech Tournament. Yes, you can vote from them. And more. Tekken 7 as well, for some reason. Dark Resurrection, Tech Tournament 2, Tekken 8 as well. Tech Tournament HD. I don't know why the HD. Bloodline Rebellion. Virtual Fighter 2 versus... I don't even know this was a thing. Oh, it's a bootleg game. Oh my god. I don't think they will ever do this. Okay. So yeah, like this is a cool feature from them, the GOG Dream List. To couple that with the news of DINO CRISIS 1 and 2, like I was very happy this week with GOG. I'm thinking of like getting some free time and actually stream DINO CRISIS for the first time, because I never play those games and they look cool. Let's take another small break here, because we are taking a break from news just a little bit, and I do need to do something that no one else can do for me. But in the meantime, I got another game for you guys to check out called the Bauhausbank. Okay, Bauhaus, if you don't know, like it's a famous painter known for them minimalist, abstract types of stuff, like the art style. This is a one-button game that you press. So you have a piece that it's constantly rotating on 2 axes, right? On 2 points, and you press the button to swap the anchor point. Okay. I'm gonna leave you guys with the trailer. So I'm gonna put it on at the beginning, while I do something that no one else can do for me. Which means I'm taking a piss. Do you guys like that trailer? February 6th on Steam. But I really dig this game. So first, I'm a fan of Bauhaus. First of all, both the band and the art style. But I'm also a fan of simple games, like of simple concepts that are well executed. Okay. So the fact that you can play this game with just a single button, it's very interesting, to say the least. And again, like you just press one button to swap. You got Walter, okay, and you got the goal, so it's easy. You need to go to the goal. I spin to win. Spin to win. Let's go. Right, very easy. I like that they went with the simple concept of walking with like a spinner of some sort, but at the same time they introduced a bunch of stuff in the middle of the level, like power-ups and all that, just like making the game harder. Pretty cool art style, in my opinion. I'm gonna leave you guys a link for this as well. The Bauhaus Bonk. Actually, added to wish list. I forgot to add to my wish list as well. You have a demo you can download. I actually downloaded it. I haven't not tried it yet. You are enjoying Blasphemous 2? Yeah. I still need to actually play that game. Okay, in the meantime, let me check what Rufox has as a new emo. Okay, cool. That looks cool. That actually looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this to the end, I think. In the meantime, more releases. Koei Tecmo's PS5 exclusive is coming to PC. So you got Rise of the Ronin coming in. There's a cat, so I'm already sold. That's it. The Steam version will support PC features including ultra-wide monitor, 8K resolution, 120 FPS, and 3D audio. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. I hope you don't need all of this to you know, play this at the lower settings, please. Actually, kind of curious, because this game actually looked pretty cool for me, and hopefully it plays well. Apparently, Chad is not a fan. Rufox is not a fan. Let's go. Was the game that bad? Can't be that bad, right? How much did they have on the Metacritic stuff? Rise of the Ronin, Metacritic, let's see. .9 as a user score and 76. Like, it's probably a good game, right? Very political and a lot of weird intricacies. Okay, so is this like a Yakuza-like? Is that what you're saying? If it's a Yakuza-like, I'm down for it. So reviews of games that politics as a point of evaluation. I think if games touch on so like obviously this is spent. Did I close the tab or did I? No, I actually did this on the same tab. So this is Rise of the Ronin, right? which means it's probably in the Edo period. I don't know. 19th century Japan. 19th century Japan. That's the Edo period. Okay, that as I thought it was. So like if it's treating stuff around the Edo period of Japan, right? Because you're gonna be interacting with stuff from that. Oh wait, you got stuff like Hayabusa. Okay, you got pre-order bonus. That's cool. I don't care for those. But if you're interacting with stuff from Field of Japan, like is that not politics, right? Because if you are meeting historical figures from the Edo period, that's politics, and I will always appreciate those, right? Yeah, cool. Rise of Ronin coming to PC, like another game free of shackles of exclusivity on the PS5. You know, I might. So it's cool, right? In the meantime, like we got. So this was a weird thing for me because this was a weird, really weird thing for me because I saw the Power World Director reveals insane interest in Pocket Pair's publishing. I saw Pocket Pair releasing their publishing division, and I'm like, okay, sure, another publisher. I'm not doesn't do anything for me. And they announced a horror game. It was the first thing. I'm like, okay, horror game. Pocket Pair. I like Power World was not something that interested me at all. Okay. But then they say, oh yeah, like it's from the Tales of Kenzara guy, and I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. What the fuck? And yeah, so like in the meantime, they announced the publishing, and they said they were looking for other endeavors, like besides the Tales of Kenzara. Abdul Salih Abu. Oh fuck, I forgot the name. Tales of Kenzara developer name. I've completely forgot. I'm so sorry. What's the name of the guy? Abu Bakar Salim. Okay. I was thinking correctly, and I thought I was gonna say bad, the name bad. But Abu Bakar Salim, yeah, like he made Tales of Kenzara, or Zao. You might have heard of it. And I thought this was a really pretty game, a really cool, interesting Metroidvania. Pivoting to a horror game, and especially from the Power World developers publishing side of things, it's such a weird combo that it might just work. Okay. It's one of those things that you listen, you read, and you assimilate the information, and you're like, huh, really? Okay. So this is happening apparently, which is fine. Like, cool. I'm always down for new games from the Tales of Kenzara guys. But also, like, I wonder what. So they announced the publishing, and they had an inflood of people trying to get funding for their own games, obviously, which is, you know, expected. A lot of people are developing indie games, and they need all the help they can get. So yeah, I wonder, like, I want to see them announcing more games from this side. Maybe Power World was something they needed to get the publishing sites off the ground, because obviously Power World was a big success, and that will help other indie developers. And I think that's how you do stuff, like the correct way. Like you get a hit out there with all the stuff, even with the weird stuff that happened with Nintendo. I think they're still fighting with Nintendo in court with the Power World stuff. But even with all that weird shenanigans happening, the the money that you made is gonna help other people like also fund their games, and I think that's a really cool move from Pocket Bear. Like, so GG. Yeah, like I just want to see like what games they're gonna announce besides the one that they already announced. And also, we're gonna get a new Resident Evil apparently as a movie. Hipster moves. I think it's important to. I think it's important to people that are on top to also pull others to them, right? To their same level and not push other people down. And like with Power World, look, I'm gonna be straight honest. I looked at Power World and I know people keep saying that game is good. That game looks fucking ass to me. Okay, I don't care. That game looks fucking ass, and I'm not gonna play that shit. I don't care for Pokemons with guns, but if Pokemons with guns is a gateway for we get more games and cool games, fucking do it. Yeah, I'll give it a look. Like, yeah, it feels it's definitely not my type of game because I don't like building games. I don't like that kind of stuff. You know, I don't like base building, settlement, enslaving animals as a gameplay mechanic. You know, I found it funny, but it would probably be something that would be funny for like a couple of hours and then be like, yeah, cool, okay, and just, you know, drop it and never play it again. But if that leaves me to get like a cool new horror game, let's fucking do it. Like, please do more of those. And yeah, like Resident Evil movie live action reboot is happening. I don't understand why we're getting a new Resident Evil movie. So Ruben in chat was saying like Mila Jovovich is a bad actress. I hardly disagree. I just think that she's making bad choices in movies. Okay. So like she made all the Resident Evil. The first one was kind of cool actually. Not great, but it was kind of cool. The Monster Hunter movie was okay-ish. She is a wonderful singer, by the way. If you never heard her songs, like, she has a really cool, I'm gonna say, pop acoustic type of sound. It's kind of cool, and she sings really well. What I don't get is like how we're gonna get more Resident Evil movies rebooting from. I mean, I guess it makes sense because PlayStation is now has a separate division called PlayStation Productions, right? For developing movies with the PlayStation brand, and they are trying to like shooting their shot at whatever. And we got like the Until Dawn coming out now. There's talks of another movies that I the one with Elliot Page that I forgot the name now, by Page Productions, which was it the Detroit movie as well? Like, it was announced. Like, yeah. It's not. I mean, it's a collaboration, right? It's a Capcom IP, but it's a collaboration, obviously, right? Maybe Capcom is not interested in doing more movies after the Monster Hunter fiasco. I'd say, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to make of this. I honestly don't know, because I feel Resident Evil is camp horror, and I like camp horror. Like, I was always down for stuff like Evil Dead and those types of like wacky, almost comedic to a degree types of horror movies. but I like the Resident Evil movies were more action oriented and less horror, you know, like it was like big explosions, big stuff happening on screen. And so are the games, right? Like the games also like ended up being a camp fest. I don't know like what a movie will bring with a reboot, but sure, like it's whatever. Like we'll see it when we get there. And for the last piece of news that I have here, we're going to talk about a very peculiar guy. You guys may have heard of it. Tim Sweeney. Tim Sweeney says Epic is losing billions fighting Apple and Google because it can afford to. Jokes that we might run into serious financial problems after a couple more decades. So no regrets, I guess. And so like, this is so weird because like Epic has been in, like it says Epic Games as for several years been now engaged in a legal war with Apple and Google centered around the closed ecosystems of iOS and Android, where developers have no choice but to pay 30% of a store fee of all revenue. So what Epic is fighting for is that Epic agrees that 30% is a pretty high fee for a developer to pay on each sale, right? Like if you put a game out on Steam and you make a sale, 30% of the money that you get from that sale, it's for Steam. Same goes for iOS and same goes for Android, right? However, if you put your game on Epic, you got 25% instead of the 30. So you actually have less of a cut if you put your game on Epic. Obviously, like that does not concern Sweeney, right? That does not concern Sweeney at all. It's not his business. He's not the guy to make the call, but he decided to go to court anyway. And it's so weird. Like to me, it's so weird because so what I don't know what to make of this because like in one hand this makes total sense, right? So Tim is like, no, like if you put a game, you should be able to choose like from a lower fee like we have on our store, right? And 30% is a lot of any sale that you do. So like you like developers and publishers should get a smaller cut just like when you sell a game. So instead of 30, you should lower things to 25%, and that goes for iOS, that goes for Valve, that goes for whatever. Okay. But at the same time, Tim is such a weird guy that I can't understand if this has a nefarious end to it, or if it's just Tim being, I'm going to use the expression here called lawful neutral. Okay, I don't know if you guys are, if you guys are like aware of the Dungeons and Dragons alignment chart. Okay, so you got like the evil and you got the good. So I think it's better for me to like just show it on screen, but alignment chart. Okay. Do I have an alignment chart? A good. Sure. Okay. Yeah. This goes. Okay. So you got good and evil, but you also got law and chaos. So that means like you can be evil but still follow the laws, and you can be good and ignore the laws for a more correct moral approach. Okay, so like if you think if a law is not fair, and you look at it like, okay, this law, like it's in place and I should follow it, but it's unfair, so I'm gonna break it anyway because I think it's morally wrong. That makes you chaotic good, okay? But if you follow laws and you are good, then you are lawful good. And Tim feels like a lawful neutral guy, kind of guy, okay? I don't know if this makes sense, right? Because on one hand, I feel like does bottom left and right side of the screen looks the same to you, Geets? What do you mean? I'm confused for that question. The bottom left and the bottom right? Huh? Oh, you mean from the chart? No. No. Bottom left is like, I think it's yellow, and this is like grayish, maybe like greenish, I think. But it's completely different, yeah. So yeah, like Tim feels like he's fighting for the little guy. I feel Tim is fighting for the little guy, but at the same time, it's like, man, Epic Games is not Epic Game Store, not Epic Games, okay, not the company, but the store. It's not like in a good state yet right now. Yeah, it's Tim Sweeney, not Tim from our friend Tim. Okay, because I feel like Epic Game Store it's giving away the free games since it came out in 2016, I believe, and I don't think I've missed one, or if I did, it's like one or two. But it's still missing like basic features for them to actually be a good alternative to, for instance, what Valve is, right? Because yeah, you can put all the games you want in your Epic account, and you can play them. But I think overall experience, as bad as Valve is with Steam and that awful UI, I feel Valve offers you a better experience overall than Epic. And like Tim fighting these smaller fights that are him reaching out to other companies and be like, hey, you guys are being pieces of shit there, and you should be more like us, because we actually pay more to the developers, or we don't take as much from the developers as you guys are. Like, yeah, it's true. Like, you guys are obviously taking less from the developers, and it's a good incentive to put your games there. But your story is fucking shit, man. Like, you spent like it took 4 years for Epic Games to have a cart where you could buy multiple games at once. You had to buy the games one at a time. Okay, this was 4 years. It's a basic feature in any store on the internet that you open. You can put several items in your cart and then pay for them all at once, right? And you might say, yeah, that doesn't seem like a big problem. It's worse. Like it's worse, of course, but like it's not a big problem. It is, because some companies would actually not let you buy the second time because you were spending money on the same store with the same amount of money, right? So like if you make a purchase of a game that was like $69.99 and you buy the second game also at $69.99, the second game wouldn't come through because the credit card would consider that a scam. Okay. So it took us 4 years to get actually a cart that you could buy multiple games on Epic. You still don't have user reviews. You still don't have discussion forums where people can go there and post problems that they're gonna have with their games. Okay, you get refunds now as well. But the end experience is that if you have a problem with your game that you bought on Epic, you're gonna take it to Steam and ask people on Steam if they're having the same problem. That doesn't make any sense, okay? Like, and it's not even the look at me, I'm going to Steam to talk about Epic. It's like you are driving people away from your platform, right? And as much as you want to fight the little guy for the little guy and be like, yeah, we offer better deals, we offer better conditions, for you guys to put your games there instead of putting them on Valve, the overall consumer is not going to change to your store because you're missing basic features, and it's so weird. Okay. There's like a bunch of these tech guys that I think are weird in different ways, but Tim is such a it's a guy that's kind of like, he's not tied to like the most extreme cases of like people like Elon Musk, you know, that are trying to make money like they're not trying to be like the ultimate capitalist guy that wants to acquire all the money in the world for themselves. Like Tim Sweeney fights all these small fights to make them seem like he is kind of interested in reaching for the small folks. But I feel something weird coming from, like, it's a weird vibe, okay? It's a very, very weird vibe, okay? So, like, he invested $1 billion in Epic Game Store so far. This figure is presumably for the whole thing, not just the mobile launch. It's silly money, obviously. Like, $1 billion for Epic currently is not that much. And if you talk about, like, all the licensing you get from Unreal Engine to movies and the Fortnite stuff as well. But what are you guys doing, man? Just like focus on your product now. I would use Unreal Store or Epic Game Store a lot more, for sure, if I had like probably, you know, better user experience. And currently that's not a thing that's happening. And I bought games there. Yeah, in the meantime, like, I'm gonna jump some news that you guys sent me. I think that's it from my side of things. Let's go here and check out what you guys are saying. Here on news, you got oh yeah, Nvidia lost the 520 billion in market capitalization thanks to the DeepSeek. I've read a bunch about this stuff about DeepSeek. I want to know like more. Okay, I want to know more as well before I actually come up with news covering this. So I don't get you guys to be like, yeah, this guy doesn't know anything, which I don't anyway. So it is what it is. Age of Empires 3 canceled. Shame. Oh, prices for the GeForce stuff is up actually. In Portugal. So if you guys were waiting to buy a new graphics card, oh well, yeah, 5090, it's gonna be around almost 3,000 euros. Jesus Christ, man. Jesus Christ, 3,000 euros for a graphics card. It's absurd, to say the least. And I saw the rest of it. The 5080 is gonna be around 1,500 euros, give or take. So yeah, it's not. Poof. This is actually like egregious. So yeah, if you're in Portugal and hoping to upgrade for a new graphics card, hope you can afford it, man. Because yeah, that's not great. That's not great. Meantime, PlayStation posted this stats on X. You guys are not seeing anything. I'm gonna change this to this. Yeah, okay. Thank you for the fantastic response to classic PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PS4 limited time console themes, which will be leaving tomorrow. Due to the positive response on these 4 themes, we're doing some work behind the scenes to bring these special designs back in the month ahead. What? What the fuck is this? I'm confused. Okay, like I know people like these themes, but they're gonna take them out and are working to bring them back in a few months. Just leave them there. Just don't push the button. Come on, don't push that button. Like it's simple. What the? Sony has the weirdest decisions sometimes, I guess. But okay, I'm not gonna even say anything. It's so weird. Yeah, the thing is, like, while they aren't plans to create additional themes in the future, we're excited to keep celebrating legacy PlayStation hardware with you all. And I'm like, okay, but these are already there. You don't need to do anything. You have a button that says remove theme from store. You just don't push it. That's easy. It's so easy. Sony, come on, man. Like you guys are doing so well. And the latest news that like Duple sent for the video game for the news chat, video game. Oh my god, Video Game History Foundation. I forgot the name for a small moment. Video Game History Foundation library opens in early access for free for everyone wherever you are. Oh yeah, I saw this like last week and I didn't talk about it, but you can now visit the archive of Video Game History Foundation right here. Actually, we can do this after we go into this piece of news. Ever since we started 2017, the Video Game History Foundation has been building a digital library to help the study of video game history. We've been collecting development documents, behind-the-scenes content, rare video games, publications and catalogs, magazines, memorabilia, ephemera, and more. After years of cataloging, processing, and digitizing our collections, we're ready to open our virtual doors to the public for the first time. Learn how games were made. Okay. The highlight of our launch collection is the Mark Flitman Papers. Mark is a retired game producer who worked on companies like Konami, Acclaim, Midway, and Mindscape in the 19s and 20s and 2000s. He and his family graciously invited the Video Game History Foundation to his home and allowed us to digitize and share the mountains of paperwork and digital file backups he kept in his basement for over 2 decades. Even if you don't know the games he worked on, and you probably know a few, his papers are an incredible record of business of video game production and marketing. Our library also premieres over 100 hours of footage for the production of Myst series by developer Cyan, including the original full motion filming footage for Myst and Riven. Okay, I'm gonna say let's take a look at this. Extensive international collection of From Software promotional materials collected by citizen archivist Chris Orquart. Sorry if I pronounced his name wrong. With a blessing from Software. God damn it, you guys don't ever pick good names, do you? To donate them to our library and much more. Okay, so let's see. Let's check this out. Library at gamehistory.org. I'm gonna leave the link here. And Dakship, thank you for the following. We are looking at the Video Game History Foundation library in this digital format now. So search the catalog, enter your search terms. What games do you guys want to check out in the Video Game History Foundation? And hi, welcome to the stream. I'm gonna say, like, I want to check out the From Software. Mario 64, says Ichonka. Okay, let's see. Mario 64. What do you guys say? Oh, this is actually like stuff where Mario 64 is mentioned. Okay, so you got Nintendo Comic Systems. Let's see this. Can I send a title of a video? Sure. Okay, let me check one thing first. But why, by the way, why the video in specific? Okay, that's a weird sentence, but okay, I will like. We'll check it out after. Okay. So yeah, Mario 64 was mentioned in the Nintendo Comic System. So let me check it out. Scope and contents. This is nearly complete collection of Nintendo Comic Systems from Valiant Comics. Okay. Language of materials. Can we check this out though? Contain collectionary. Can I see it though? Actually, no. This has no way of having Mario 64 here because it fits until 1991. Like it's definitely not here. But Nintendo Power, it's probably here. Nintendo Power is official. Okay, but where do I see these though? This is the thing, right? Like, cause we want to see the publications. Digital archive. There you go. Oh, there you go. Okay, we found the archive finally. Okay, featured the Mark Flitman papers, Game Pro, From Software. Anything that you guys are interested in looking at this. I'm gonna say that Mark Flitman is probably the thing that I'm more interested in From Software as well. Okay, taking a while to load though. Rene, you want to see this. Easy. Was this like promotional material? Okay, yeah. That's cool. Okay. Cat's sleeping. Okay. Yeah, you can see like how big is the image though? It's actually like you can actually zoom. Okay, that was too much. I'm so sorry. But I kind of want to see what resolution this is. Okay, yeah, promotional poster, UK, approximate size 56 by 38 centimeters. The original issue could not be identified at the time of the cataloging, but it's dated 2015 from the Heroes of PlayStation 4. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, you can look at the hunter's ass in detail. Look at this. That's amazing. Let me see, like, what else? What else from Bloodborne? This is kind of cool though. Like, there's a bunch of stuff. I remember like having all these magazines, like when I was younger, and I threw them. I think I threw most of them away. I might check my parents' garage. I might still have some of them stored in there. That had like reviews and hardware reviews and all that. But those things are like lost in this digital age, so it might be kind of cool to just check it out. Promotional guidebook, print advertisement. Okay. The European poster. Okay. European poster is so much darker than the other one. Why is that? Like, this is so bright, and I feel this is like the same poster, but it's like Bloodborne and like all dark. What happened here, right? PlayStation 4 exclusive, there you go. It's not that like I dislike one or the other, it's just like it's weird that they actually like make it so different, right? This is the European, and what is the other one? Just like a random PlayStation magazine? Yeah, same as me. PAL discs in Blu-ray. Okay, that's kind of the promotional charm. What is this? It's Bloodborne on PC. It's finally happening, guys. It's finally happening. Can you imagine, like, new CEO drops for Sony, and we wake up to a Bloodborne port announcement, and we're like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. Where did this come out? Promo charm for Bloodborne by From Software for PlayStation 4. Probably like some Japanese trinket, right? Is the coin? Oh, the coin is just there for like scaling. Because, you know, Bloodborne logo appearing on the PC monitor is Bloodborne on PC, exactly. The best port of all time. Runs at 60 FPS. Review. Oh, you have the reviewer's guide. Okay, you guys can actually check out a cool thing here, which is like, sometimes when people get hard games to review, you get sent a document, because it's like, oh, if you're stuck, you can actually check out what it says. Fact sheet, basic info. Never played the Souls game? Oh my god. Okay, hold on. We're gonna check this out. I've watched a new trailer for Spider-Man, yeah. Looks fine. But never played the Souls game. Starting with Demon Souls in 20... oh my god, they're gonna give you a history lesson. Okay. Let's say we're about to review Bloodborne, right? It's 2015, and you're about to review Bloodborne, and you get hit with starting with Demon Souls in 2009. Japanese developer From Software has become synonymous with a very particular kind of game. It's safe to assume that if you've yet to play one of these games, it's a weird sentence, you're at least aware of why they're popular. They are throwbacks to a time when games dared to not hold your hand, a time for letting the player figure something out was part of the fun. And there you are, reading the reviewer's guide, likely obligated to give it a go. Fuck, they got me there. God damn it. Maybe this is exactly your kind of games, but this is exactly your kind of game, but you just never got a chance to jump in? Or maybe you've been putting this moment off for years. That's kind of cool. Okay, so they give you like a little rundown of the systems, like more active combat, transforming weapons, the blood echoes, the insight. That's kind of cool. The opening minutes, Hunter's Dream. Okay, the opening minutes. You seemingly agreed to undergo a dangerous blood transfusion procedure. Bruno16, welcome to the stream. We are looking at the Video Game History Foundation website that just launched. And we are looking at the Bloodborne reviewer's guide that they uploaded. How are you doing? Welcome to the Fgeitas show. We are actually almost wrapping up. Because we've done the news, we've talked games, and that's what we do, because we don't have time to play those on stream. But oh my god, like I'm so excited to read this. Actually, like I'm gonna probably read this off stream. But it's so cool that you look at like how reviews are made. you know, in a professional environment where you look at like you get so like imagine getting Bloodborne and you never play the Souls game and you're like, how do I beat this piece of shit boss? And there's no one to help you because the game is not out yet. You're the reviewer. That's your job. And they give you like a whole fucking booklet. 14 pages. I mean, not 14 pages, but 14 sections. So what? It's the actual guide. That's the actual guide. So yeah, 21 pages of like, hey, we're gonna walk you through with this. Through this. It's good. Like it's so weird because so what happened is you got the Video Game History Foundation opening its digital doors, okay, to the public. You can go here to archive.org. Let me see if I can get you this archivegamehistory.org. I can actually get you guys this link. And you have some stuff to start. They don't have a lot of things yet. I mean, it's a lot of things already, but they don't have a lot of things compared to video game history, right? And one of those things was the From Software promotional material. And you have a bunch of stuff already here, like not just Bloodborne, but you also have Armored Core, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Echo Knight, Metal Wolf Chaos as well. Oh my god, I want to read this after this. Sekiro, general From Software promotion, Kingsfield, you know, Ninja Blade. I actually played this game back then. It's actually kind of interesting. It's a Ninja Gaiden from Temu, if you want. Otogi as well. And we were looking at some stuff that they have for Bloodborne, and one of the stuff was actually the reviewer's guide from 2015. So like if you were a games journalist back then and you were tasked by From Software to actually review the game and you're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do, you could actually get this pamphlet or like book just to guide you through the journey. Although they don't give you much even then. Like they give you the systems, the character creation and how it goes, like the opening minutes, the hunter's dream, your first weapon, completing the tutorial, and how the multiplayer works, and the co-op and all that. Callous Dungeons as well, because Callous Dungeons was actually a different thing. Some tips and strategies, but even then, like if you wanted to finish the game, it's like, yeah, you're fucking on. Classic From Software, I'd say. That's actually kind of cool. But yeah, you could like consult this book to help you on your journey, right? Because like there were no guides available because you were the one making them. It's so cool. Like I love when stuff like this happens because like it's small pieces of history that are mostly lost or inaccessible. It's better if they don't influence the reviewer's experience, obviously. I was thinking more like, I know for a fact that reviewers talk to each other from different companies, right? If you got GameSpot, IGN, like those guys all know each other. And I know that if they are reviewing the game and they know the other person is reviewing the same game, it's like, hey, have you beaten this? How do you do that? And they're like, shit, I'm also stuck. Review is gonna be ass. That's what's gonna be. That's what's gonna happen, right? It's better if they don't influence the reviewers interest too much. That's what I was thinking. This would be very much valuable for general consumption. I mean, yes, but I also feel like with this specific title, part of the fun is finding out this stuff, right? So like having a general review guide, maybe it's not. I mean, I feel they do a poorly pissed job at explaining stuff, but I feel that's also why I like those games, to be honest. But I get it. Like if the information was readily available, like you could look at it. You don't need to. But obviously, like if it's available, it's another option. Accessibility, right? From Software was never good at the accessibility stuff. Okay, we're gonna look into one more thing from E3 because I kind of want to see this. if they have anything interesting to look at. Just the directory. Okay, so let's see so we have 1995, 1996. Was 1995 the year where they introduced the PlayStation 1? Was that the one? Was this the mythical E3 where Sony got up on stage and said $299 and went away? I think it was, right? Yeah, like, no, you're not alone in there, that's for sure. Electronics Entertainment Expo, okay. It's entertaining, electronic, it's here. If it's entertaining, electronic, and interactive, it's here. My god, that's such a bad slogan. That's such a 1995 slogan that it fucking hurts. Oh my god. Oh god. Man, Pete Wilson. That's the Entertainment Software Board. Shows week schedule, let me see. Wednesday, press registration. Keynote featuring Tom Kalinske and Olaf Ollensen. I think this was at General Sessions. So we're gonna close the stream with this, okay? We're gonna close the stream with this. Saturn made their presentation. Let me see if I find here on YouTube. We are 2 hours and 30 onto a podcast. People are gonna love this VOD, or not. Saturn 1995 E3. Okay. The Sega press conference. 35 minutes. Okay. This is no spoilers. Okay, no spoilers. Okay. So, I got the YouTuber intro. Okay, so obviously this is 1995. You're gonna get potato quality in this thing. Okay, but here we have Sega 1995. Olaf is presenting the Sega Saturn to the world. Okay, and I'm gonna remind you guys, the Sega Saturn was the worst launch Sega ever has done. Okay, for a bunch of different reasons. It was so stupid. So first they made like a 35-minute presentation, okay? And they're like, yeah, people now have computers at home and they are now playing more games at home. So we want to deliver games for your home in a console format. Yeah, because it obviously, right? Like everyone was already moving to home consoles, and Sega was like, yeah, we want to move to home. Like, yes, we know, okay. And they have like a reel of like 3D graphics. We have real 3D rendering now. Look at this. Nintendo has shit on this, right? Because like Nintendo was still back in the 16-bit era. They were actually shafted by Sony back then, because they were doing the Nintendo PlayStation and Sony backed out at the last minute. Okay, so like they're showing real 3D games coming out to your house. So they're like Virtual Fighter looking like this in 1995 was absolutely crazy. Like you were talking almost arcade had a better quality than home consoles at that point in time. So actually having a near like arcade experience directly on your couch, it's absolutely crazy. Okay. But here's where they fumbled. They fumbled this into things at launch, okay? I'm not going to say the rest of the console, which was also a fumble, but the launch was a fumble for two reasons. One, they shadow dropped the console, okay? So after this press conference, they're like, it's available tomorrow. You can go to your store and buy it, and people are like, fuck. We are not prepared to get a home console tomorrow, and neither were stores because they were getting the consoles overnight. So there were like stock shortages. This is US, okay? Like, we're not talking Europe, okay? But in the US, console shortages everywhere. They announced the console was ready for tomorrow. There were no consoles on the mentioned tomorrow, right? And they were like, fuck, absolutely piss poor launch, which just aggravated later with the fact that Sega Saturn had a really bad coding environment, and they were actually also supporting the Sega 32X and the Sega CD and the Sega Mega Drive and the Sega Game Gear and the Sega Master System at the same time, okay? This all spirals up into the Dreamcast and obviously leads to Sega shutting down their hardware division. But in this moment, Sega Saturn is like just doing piss poor, okay? They announced this. The games look really cool, like, okay, like with the cool new technology, the 3D stuff. You know, like you could play Daytona USA at your house. Like, holy shit! And Panzer Dragoon, like, who doesn't want to play Panzer Dragoon or Virtual Cop, right? Like, it's so cool, right? But they fumbled the launch, and they announced the price, $399. $399 back in 1995 was a fuck ton of money, okay? Like, if you think like we are buying consoles now at 500 euros, 400 euros for a console back in 1995, people were like absolutely pissed, okay? Because like, I'm not gonna buy this. This is expensive as shit. And I know, like, and this is a true story. Like, I know there's evidence on the internet, and I think it was Giant Bomb that said this. If I ever found out, I can show you guys on a further stream. But there's evidence of Sony looking at this conference, okay, a 35-minute conference where they announced everything, and they were like, shit, they actually have a good product, but $399 is a lot, okay? It could probably make a pretty interesting video with this topic if you didn't work for 4channel yet. But here's the thing. Sony listens to this, see the presentation, and hear the $399, and they make a decision on the spot of the launch price of the PlayStation, okay? And so they go on stage. They go on stage and they show a little bit of the PlayStation material, but they don't do a 35-minute presentation. It's just a show reel, okay? Like with some games just scrolling by, and people are impressed, like with all the 3D going around and all that. But then this guy comes up on stage and does this.
Sony Computer Entertainment President of America, Steve Reyes, join me for a brief presentation.
Okay.
$299.
That's it. Done. Guy gets up on stage and they make the split-second decision of launching the PlayStation at $299, $100 less than their main competitor. And, you know, the rest is well known how this went. You know, Saturn really struggled for like the whole generation, and Sony, well, but imagine the fucking balls on these guys, like on the backstage, hearing the Saturn going like, yeah, $399, like this is the most powerful console of this generation. It's worth $399, and they're like, fuck it, let's do it. $299, and just fucking leave the stage, like, mic drop. Done. Get. It's absolutely crazy, right? So yeah, like that's E3 1995, epic video game history moment indeed. It's so cruel. It's such a cruel twist of fate, especially because Sony came from the Nintendo collab that they dropped halfway through because they were neither of them were liking what the collab was becoming, and Sony was like just making their own console. There were talks like, so to give you extra context of what's happening in this point in time, there wasn't only just Sega, there wasn't just Nintendo in the video game space, right? There was Philips, there was the 3DO, there was the Mac. Macintosh had a console called the Mac Pippin, okay, or the Apple Pippin, which fucking sucked, okay? It's because everyone wanted in. Like, it was a new market that was growing, and everyone's like, yeah, we want our consoles to be here. Atari also had one. But most of those consoles were laughable, okay? And you start listening that Sony, like, people were starting to have the rumors going around that Sony was making their own console as well. And, you know, on that specific time, everyone's like, oh no, not another one. Like, oh, god damn it, here comes Sony thinking they can actually do something with this and just, you know, launch another piece of shit of box into the market, and they're gonna fail. But as the rumors built up, people that were actually seeing the console in closed doors, they were like, look, they're actually making a good product there. Like, apparently they like it's strong. Like, they're making this for real. And so as this moment for the 299 creeps up in like this specific E3, the Atari, the 3DOs, all that, like they were just like being left behind, and Sony drops this fucking bomb of $299 per console. It's like, holy shit, Sony is not coming here to play around. Like, they're actually here to win. And, you know, like, that leads obviously to PlayStation being the best-selling console of their generation, with the added thing that their developing environment was open source, so everyone could fucking make games for the PlayStation. If you were a small-time developer, you didn't need to pay a fucking fee to have your game on PlayStation, unless obviously you had the costs of production, but you didn't pay a fee to be on PlayStation, unlike you had to pay for Sega. Because Sega had the proprietary stuff going around, especially with like the GD-ROMs on Dreamcast, and the Saturn had specific types of memories. It was fucking bonkers. Like, Sony absolutely came in with like full force into the industry. And Bruno is saying I miss E3. I do miss E3 as well. I don't think Summer Games Fest is an adequate substitute for what E3 really was, to be honest. It's slowly becoming, but it's not the same vibe. It's a different vibe, I'd say. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna post the usual stuff here before we close the show. Don't forget to follow me on socials. I don't post a lot of stuff on socials, and when I do, it's probably a shit post. You know, you guys can follow me there. I got, if you want to listen to the show after, because obviously this show is on a Thursday afternoon, and a lot of people are working, you can go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I'll post the VOD there as soon as I'm able to, and I'm having a little bit of free time. And in the meantime, if you want to hang around, ask questions, leave news for me to check out, you can join the Discord as well. The link's all there in the chat. And I think this is gonna be it. We're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for being on that side. Like, it really means a lot to me, honestly, because like it's the fourth show. We've been doing this for a month now, and having 15 viewers at the end of a stream, for me, it's actually pretty good. And I'm really glad this is working out both for you and for me. So yeah, let's wrap it up. We're gonna play the end song here, and I'll see you guys, next week, Thursdays at 3 p.m. as usual, unless there's some extra stream going on. But I'll let you guys know. So yeah, goodbye, everyone.